We got Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. Unfortunately, it fell through with Hamzat Chimaev. It looks like he's going to be okay. He's out of surgery now. He had to get add a dick to him. But he should be all right. He should be fully recovered in time to fight here in about 4 years. Robert Whittaker, he's a warrior, man. He's experienced. He's fought the top of the competition. He wants to stay standing, but he's got elite defense. He's a killer, man. He'll go after you and he'll finish you. No diddy. Ikram Aliskerov, he's got some knockout power. He actually is a pretty good striker for being one of the Russian guys. One of these Dagestani dudes. He's a sub artist, good grappler. He's got dangerous hands. Actually, he is right now the betting favorite, as in he has 51% of the bets. But Robert Whittaker, 49% of the bets, so still not a huge difference. But Aliskerov getting Whittaker on short notice. I was a little surprised starting off that he's getting the public bets. But like I said, Whittaker, 49% of bets, but 68% of the money. And that's the side that I'm going to be on too. Robert Whittaker is just one of the best to ever do it. I know he's kind of starting to age out of the sport. He's only 2 years older than Ikram. The range, their reach, pretty close, similar. There's not a lot different. The only edge, and usually, you know how I am with my Dagestani guys. I usually go with them, especially if they have that wrestling edge and they're going against a guy who's not much of a grappler. But I just think Robert Whittaker's different, and I'm going to go with Robert. And that's not like me, but I am today. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on this, surprisingly. I was very curious to see what the odds on this would be. Surprised that they are this close. I was kind of hoping to take advantage of people fading Whittaker, so to say. I was kind of hoping that Whittaker would be a heavier underdog because of the Dagestani hype, because of Aliskerov being the younger guy. Like, he's got a hype train behind him right now with a pretty small but vocal cult-like following. And I was hoping to take advantage of that, but unfortunately, as of right now, unless odds drastically change, it doesn't look like that will be occurring. But yeah, Whittaker only since his middleweight run, because he was another guy like Gastelum that started off at 170, but not because he was, undisciplined in his diet and shit like Gastelum, but because he truly was depleting himself so much at 170 that after Stephen Thompson TKO'd him, he moved up one fight after that. He had one more fight at 170, decided, fuck it, middleweight's where I need to be in 2014, and he stayed at middleweight ever since, and it's been a huge benefit to him since moving up. And since moving up, he's only ever lost to the absolute elite of the division, Israel Adesanya twice and Duplessis once. So all that to say, Whittaker, the grappling is the X factor, because for all of Whittaker's hype around his grappling, how underrated people say his grappling is and things of that nature, we don't really see it get challenged a lot. That's why it was so shocking that DDP, the guy who nobody saw it coming, that he was actually a pretty good grappler with some sneaky fucking entries and everything that people just were not fucking aware of, was able to damn near sub him after knocking him down with the strike and everything and setting up the TKO. Very surprising that it was DDP to kind of expose that, because not even Yoel Romero really pressed that issue too much. Everybody was just kind of touting, Robert Whittaker in his spare time likes to do Australian Commonwealth wrestling matches and shit. So that's kind of the biggest X factor. Is his grappling bad? Was it just because he was rocked that DDP was able to take advantage and have a pretty nifty little pass to set up that TKO finish, that type of thing? Like, what really was going on there with that DDP loss? But I don't think it's strong enough of an X factor to warrant Iskerov being a heavy favorite. I mean, this is going to be a make or break fight for him to see if he has that elite potential. But I just think as of right now, like you said, there's not much to disagree with. And right now, the gold standard is still Robert Whittaker, and he is like the elite of the elite at keeping the gate. So, yeah, Robert Whittaker, I'll just take money line on that, I think, to be safe. Iskerov probably is a tough guy who probably will be hard to knock out or submit. I could probably easily see it being a decision, and I hate to say it, but probably a relatively boring decision, because Whittaker is an exciting guy and he does put on exciting fights, but he's also not the type to do anything other than that textbook karate boxing style, which is known for that in and out, hit, don't get hit movement. And obviously, if it leads to a finish, he's going to take it, but he's not exactly, getting the finish a lot lately in his fights and shit like that. And it's not exactly like he has ungodly power, but he will just dismantle and pick the fuck apart his opponent for all 5 rounds, like he did to Jared Cannonier, for example. Just didn't get the finish, but just absolutely fucking dismantled him, broke Cannonier's forearm, bruised the shit out of his ribs, like stuff like that for 5 rounds for 25 minutes. So I think he'll probably end up in a similar situation to Aliskerov. If Aliskerov's not making a name off Robert Whittaker like DDP did, then he's going to be in for a long night. He's just going to get systematically picked apart and just fucking – I don't think he'll get finished, but he'll just get his ass beat kind of like Cannonier style, where he just gets really fucking injured.
You better start listening to the Better in Green podcast. You will not regret it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And hey, I'm Dean Blandino.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? Listen in and cash out. That's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover old spot from the bottom to the top, hey. Shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome, welcome to our podcast, Better in Green.